Page 92, Kum-Ba-Yah. This piece is in 4/4 time. It's in the key of G major still. It's got one sharp in the key signature, so all the F's are going to be sharped automatically no matter where they are. It has an incomplete measure at the beginning, so there's only 2 counts. So we come in on beat 3. The first 2 counts are the last measure of the piece down there. So in the right hand, 3, 4. Notice his fingering, they want second finger on B. The reason for this is because we need to be in this hand position, because in the next to the last measure there we have an E. We have to be ready for that, so we come up here. So the fingering is 1, 2, 4. The counting is 3, 4, 1. And this fun, just numbers all over the place. It's funner than a bag of mud, I'll tell you what. First full measure dotted rhythm. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's tied. Hang on to it. So you got curved lines going everywhere. And then lift up the end of the phrase, and that whole note at the end of the measure is tied. It's got a curved line going out to nowhere, and at the beginning of the next line it's got a curved line coming from nowhere. It's the same nowhere. It's the same line. So you're just hanging on to that whole note for 6 counts total, because it's tied to the half note. And then you lift up, new phrase. Now here we can use third finger on the B because we don't have an E coming up. So we're just coming from here to here. So it's here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and the whole note is tied. See that curved line? Again, this curved line is below. It's not important. It's a curved line. That's what counts. And then the half note on the next measure, it's got that curved line on. Okay. Then on the third line, we're back to 1, 4, 1, 2. We have an E in this line again. This is like the first line up above, except the last measure you see it has a 4-5 with the asterisk. Well, the asterisk is not part of the music. That's just the publisher's way of pointing you toward a footnote. There's a footnote down there at the bottom, but I'm going to explain the footnote. You play it with 4th finger, and immediately while you're holding it down, put the 5th finger on it. You substitute one finger for another. It's a finger substitution. We do this a lot in piano. So we can play things legato, and this is a way of changing hand positions in some cases. So we're doing it here because we need 5th finger on it, so we can it puts us in this position for the rest of the piece. Now we're in position for the rest. So it's here, and the last line you're here. Now a little bit about fingering. It would be nice if you could understand a little bit about why fingers are used in such a way they are, and why certain fingers on certain keys, because the pieces you play, they may not always have fingering, or they may only have a little fingering but not on everything, and their fingering is only a suggestion. I mean, the fingering I'm suggesting is only a suggestion. You may have a preference for some other fingering, and you'll be able to figure out your own fingering, but there's certain guidelines to go by. Otherwise you get into some bad habits in fingering, and you know, it can affect your playing. Is what I've seen some very accomplished advanced people playing who had poor fingering habits, and it's like, I don't understand how they get the sound they get using those fingerings, but they're getting them, so okay. But I think they make life a lot harder on themselves by their bad habits. So in this finger substitution, the reason they're doing that is to put you in position for what's coming up. This is one of the things where you figure out, as you're working on the fingering and all, you work all this out, and you have a pencil. Always have a pencil around so you can mark in these fingerings, and you can erase what you don't like, because you'll change them as time goes on sometimes. However, I just want you to understand, in this piece, in this situation, we don't have to do this finger substitution. I mean, it's a good idea because you need to be exposed to the idea of a finger substitution, and these fingers are probably 2 of the harder fingers to substitute, going back and forth. So I encourage you to use it, but understand that's not the only one you can. I mean, you can leave 4 there. You don't need a 5th, because in the next line you just 3 and then bring the thumb down for the G, and then bring the hand down for the 2. So it's fine without the substitution, but go ahead and do it. It's good practice. Now for the left hand, you just got these chords, the G chord and the C chord and the D7 chord. So keep the left hand soft, because the melody's in the other hand. That's what we want to hear. So when you go to put them together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You see in that next measure, the half note's tied, but the left hand plays. And then so you're holding one hand down the note while you're playing these half notes in the left hand. So be careful on that one. Second line, going on to the second measure. Hold the D down when you play the chord. And then lift up the right hand. It's to the end of a phrase, but hold the left hand down. It's a whole note. So hold these notes down. They're full length, and you know, it's different for the different hands. Be careful. The last 2 measures down there, all the notes in both hands are tied. So you can hold them all down for 6 counts all the way across. Isn't that wonderful? Lovely. And on top of all those 4 tied things, you got that slur thing on top. You see this curved line does multiple jobs? Isn't this wonderful? You just love it? It's not color coded or nothing. It's just that way. Now with the overlapping pedaling, as I said, you play the notes and then the pedal. So in the first full measure, you're going to play these notes and then push the pedal down. Afterward, you're going to hold the pedal down. And the next measure, you'll change the pedal halfway through it. Play the notes and then change the pedal. And then again, play the notes, then change the pedal. Second line, first measure, lift the pedal with the hands, so we get a little silence before we go on. Now hold it down, change it at the last measure. Lift the pedal up before you go on. And that's basically the way it's done. I don't want to do the whole thing. You can read it and do it yourself. There's one little spot in here that kind of bothers me with the pedaling, and that's the third measure of the second line. We're pedaling this whole measure. We're getting all this sound. To me, that's out of context with this piece. This should be a sweet piece. So I'm suggesting what you can do to get rid of that is don't pedal the last 2 beats of the measure. Lift the pedal up. You're here. Lift the pedal up after you play the C. Hold the left hand down, it's a whole note. And then push the pedal down after you play the A in the next measure. So to demonstrate the second line for you this way, it would be this way, here, and then here. That takes out the blurriness if you don't like that sound. And I think I'll do that in the play with me too. And the only other pedal change I'm suggesting is the last line, first measure. I'd like to hear a little silence between the phrases before I play the C and you lift up. I like to hear some silence, and in order to do that we have to pedal accordingly. So instead of overlapping, we use a regular pedal where we're on the first notes. When the hands come up, the pedal comes up with them. And then after we play the next notes, the pedal goes down. Like so. And then you can legato pedal after that. So that first couple of measures of that last line is this way. And that's the pedal. So let's try this out. I'm going to give us 2 counts because we come in on beat 3. And we'll try this slowly together. So put your hands where they go. Here and here. Foot's on the pedal. Ready, go. 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 2, 3. hold 2,